in 7-0, but bear with me a second. If I had to choose 2 meals to eat every day for my life, it would be a full brekkie and a Sunday roast. Well, that's quite the option. But it was also a Champions League night, so I can tell you what Manchester United were doing on the other Champions League nights. They were at home watching it on telly because they're shit and they're not on it. Fuck them. Pardon my language. I mean, by now your kid should be in bed anyway, so is what it is. Okay. I actually thought I'd go and find the coolest Cardiff fan that I knew. But it turns out he wasn't available, so here's Brownie anyway. How you doing,
Hey, how are you? I do apologise, mate. I do apologise. It is what 7 o'clock in the morning here, so.
For the benefit of the audience, where are you, sir?
Yeah, I'm in Sydney. I'm in Sydney, Australia, and been here now for a few months. And the kick-off times are killing me, mate. If I'm honest with you, proper killing me. I know what kind of lifestyle now people around the world watching UK football go through. I tell you.
Cool. So, for anyone wonders what's happened to Ben, Ben's obviously undergone a plastic surgery change, or no, seriously, Ben will be here. It's all right.
Well, you can give me his doctor's name anyway, because I want to do a turkey job soon.
Yeah, no. In all seriousness, there's no fallout or whatever. He will be here. Well, hopefully he'll be here, because obviously me and Ben are we're like brothers on this thing. But
yeah, definitely. And listen, thank you for the invite as well. It's not.
No, it's Ben's invite. Ben literally last week on stream when
anyway.
Yeah, on stream. Over the years, we should get Brownie in here for this.
Well, over the years, it's always been a bit of friction between Leeds and Cardiff fans, but I think YouTube has pulled us together for some unknown bloody reason. But
it's Arsenal. Blame Arsenal. It's all the Arsenal content that draws us all in. I don't know why. It just the young Joe Pesci from John Garside.
I've been called worse.
Do you have a channel, Brownie? I mean, I know you have a channel, but obviously...
Yeah, I've just put it out on a YouTube channel. It's the first time I've done it, so I do apologise. I next time I'll do it. I'll clip it up and check it on Facebook.
Yeah, no, it's come up on my thing that you've gone live. So
yeah, I'll clip it up and I'll put it on Facebook and everything else, and then I'll put a link to your channel.
Yeah, well, you actually put out more content than I do, so obviously Football with Brownie, just type down to YouTube. I mean, I know most people do know you, but there are a few people here that don't. I mean,
yeah, no worries,
they're obviously the lucky ones, clearly, but...
hello to everybody in the chat as well. Much appreciated for coming in and for the welcome.
If you have the link back, can you put your link for your channel in the private chat?
Yeah,
and I will put it in. I'll put it on the stream.
No problem. Just 1 second.
No problem.
Thank you very much for giving me this chance anyway.
My other thing that I was going to say is there's obviously a new movie out this week. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's called Twins. Because they're pair pricks. Anyway, so other than that, I'm going to say I had the misfortune of catching some of Manchester United's game on a Saturday night. And we're all Homer in this situation. That's boring. You're boring everyone. Quit boring everyone. Stop it. It was horrible. It was a horrible watch. But it did give us this new Crystal Palace logo, Brownie.
Oh yeah, I know.
Disgraceful.
Look, I, as you can surely see, I'm from the 80s and 90s, and it brought me back to that kind of era where I loved football. I fell in love with football from those days. But surely the ruling is 2 feet off the floor. You're not in control of your body or your feet, and it should have been a straight red.
Right, it's that Cardiff City fan. He's a nice lad. He put out an amazing. I know it's been going viral amongst Leeds of the goal that we. It's not the goal that we scored. It's a celebration, and his reaction to it. It's hilarious.
I have been checking out his videos of late as well. I know he comes up on my timeline as well, and he obviously comes in a chat. But yeah, it's
basically 20 seconds of your time.
You come into our conversation. You come into our conversation later because it was only from one of his photos I realised that Neil Warnock was in attendance on Saturday for the game.
I've seen it in various places. To be fair, mate. Hello, Palfy. How you doing? That Cardiff City fan lad said, yes, that is the man himself. Hello, Lenny. Brownie, I think you'll need to put your link in the private chat because I've double checked on my phone. It hasn't actually shown up for people.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Or cut a long story short, just put a comment in the thing and then they can find it through your username or whatever.
Okay.
But you've done it there, no problem. Do excuse me, I'm really not good with this tech stuff. So this is obviously Brownie's channel. So if you'd throw him some support or whatever. I mean, like I say, he does better content. He does more content than me. Oh, that's very nice, Lenny. So you'll probably hate what I'm about to do. So because the big six are never safe at the start of this show.
Well, it's nice to actually come on to a show where we're talking about real football.
Well, I appreciate you saying that, but then I'm immediately going to roasting Manchester United, who play a version of football that I can't even fathom to describe. Basically, what's your favourite position? Man United go 11th. The best number 11s in the world: Salah, Rodrigo, Rafinha, Manchester United. I can't help myself. I cannot help myself.
I like that one.
A random piece of stat. So I will go to the chat in a second because I don't want to be an awful host, of course.
Hey, no worries. We just have the chat. Don't relax. We just have the chat.
But which former footballer, Brownie? Which former footballer played with a former Everton manager at club level in the mid-90s? Former Everton manager played at club level with dare I say, a footballing superstar. I've probably
hang on now. I'm not looking at the chat first. Right. Former Everton manager played in the 90s. No, come on, Ant. You should know this.
To be fair, he's a very young manager.
Duncan Ferguson.
Nope. You're not too far off the beat though.
Dave Watson.
It's two players. Basically, who's the superstar? Who's the former manager that as a player played with the superstar?
Dave Watson, no?
Who's the player, Jimmy? But correct. I mean, I really should have done it before. When you were like Ferguson, Dave Watson, I should have gone wrong. Denied. Jimmy, correct. I can't help it. This is all Director John made all this stuff. I love it. I'm not usually called King of Zingers. I'm usually called King of something else, but it's not very flattering. Like prick, not knobhead, whatever. Anfield with a can of diesel. Arsenal fans are raging at the ref. Don't worry, Russ. I've not left Arsenal at. I would never do that.
You know what? You know what? It was funny, man. I casted that rod out so long, but I was just reeling them in on Ryan's show earlier.
I loved it. I thought it was great stuff, personally, because it's like it gets just touchy enough that it's very easy to like just reel it back and go, oh, you know what? Just football. And I know that's what football fans, that's the worst thing you can say to football fans, just football. But when your team ain't involved, it's actually the easiest thing you can say.
Yeah.
But again, to answer the question fully, David Moyes played for Preston North End.
Yeah, that's
with
right.
David Beckham. Right.
I think he was player manager then, wasn't he? I think
he became player manager, but I don't think this was when it actually happened. But he played with David Beckham, which is one of them weird quirks in football, because people forget that. I mean, David Moyes became a manager when he was very young for a manager. I'm not like
he was already playing for them, and I think Sam Allardyce was available, and the fans wanted Sam Allardyce.
Jermaine Beckford. I mean, he is a superstar. It's a different kind of superstar.
Because I was living in Cardiff then, when Preston actually went to the championship playoff final, and he was manager.
I mean, I'm guessing you didn't win it.
No, I can't remember. Top of my head, maybe 2 or 3-0 defeat, maybe.
Yeah, sounds about right. I mean, I only say that because I think of playoffs, and I naturally think of losing, being a Leeds fan. Did you know, breaking news, Trent Alexander-Arnold's in negotiations to buy FC Nantes.
Why did I think this issue would come up tonight? Why did I? I mean, I don't know what info you know of this, but it's a lot more than basically Cardiff shot the gun, if I'm honest with you, with this issue. What happened? We all know about Salah and what happened there. But the legal process, it does make me sick in a way that the ownership of Cardiff have gone down this avenue, because I personally believe that, look, it was an incident. Both clubs should go 50-50, and just leave the bereaved family,
I never actually brought up Nantes because of Cardiff. It's just more
I know, but anti-Man United. But I do think that a little bit of background should basically Cardiff put a contract to Salah signed, right? Before they sent it to the Premier League for confirmation, they had a photo with Salah saying he's our player. The contract went to the Premier League. Well, as it was in Premier League rejected it. Salah was then back in France to get all his stuff. So technically, legally, he wasn't a Cardiff player because the Premier League had rejected it. But in the eyes of the world, they already paraded him in front of the cameras.
So
then on his return flight back to Cardiff, on a return flight back to Cardiff were there with a rewritten contract for him to sign, but he never made the return flight. With that Nantes, I tell you another thing with that Nantes,
the club, not on
the city, basically.
Yeah.
The city. Did you know that Cardiff and Nantes are actually twin cities?
I do know this because ours is Dortmund.
Okay.
Which was really like about ours. I mean, Leeds, not London. Like Leeds United, Leeds Twin Cities, Dortmund, which at the time was especially weird because they had Erling Haaland that was born in Leeds.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, just running random things.
Yeah. No. So Trent Alexander-Arnold, maybe he can go as a referee between both clubs. Maybe.
I've got one for him as well, Palfy. Don't worry, can't help myself. Obviously, a trend I noticed, like before this weekend, anytime Liverpool beat Man United, they lose the next game. And I say anytime, it happened twice. But it's still twice enough for me to go, let's put that in a thing and just leave it out there. So anytime Liverpool next beat Man United, have 1-0 on their opponent, the following opponent to win. All their effort in the beating the Man United basket. Sorry,
is that just a case of focusing so much on a Man United game?
Yeah.
That they take a foot off a pedal, then they lose the next game. And the total, the total amount of points, you may as well have bloody just beaten Bournemouth or Forest.
Oh, fair enough. I didn't know that, Jimmy. Thank you for that. Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, I don't want to say that's definitely the case because, like, my only thing to go by is that I know it happened twice.
Yeah.
But it's happened enough for me to actually have a pound on the opponent next time Liverpool do beat Man United.
Yeah, definitely.
Because
well, it must be better on my fucking tips, that's for sure.
Anytime Digi Barlow's in prison, Liverpool win the Champions League. So another weird stat that I came across: non-penalty goals since the start of last season. Jackson 18, Salah 16. Jackson.
Jeez.
I mean, I'm not going to start doing the Michael Jackson voice. That's for a different show. That's for Saturday afternoons where Gary gets upset when I do it. We pretend to get upset, but he's secretly loving it. But really, I'm just like,
well, I got to be in my bonnet about screamers not happening anymore. You know, people hitting them from outside the box. Apparently, last season was the lowest amount of goals scored from outside of the box ever in the Premier League. That's because I like coming on this show because it's championship, proper football, and none of this tippy-tappy bullshit.
We've got Stefan is here. Stefan Heaventonio Writings. He wants the Jacko voice, but that's really not a Sunday night thing. Hello, Miss Melina. How you doing? And Jimmy with shoot. I think we all know the noise. But no, you're right. Pep has killed football.
Yeah.
Ultimately.
I put a video up, a month ago now, was it, Tom? You know, and Leeds fans would have loved it because it was top five goals by none other than Tony Yeboah, who seemed to be only able to hit it from outside of a box. And
Tony Yeboah, 32 goals for Leeds. I shit you not. He would easily have the top 10. 10 of them goals would get in your goal of the month. Yeah. Maybe even goal of the season, without question. And
well, apparently, two of them, he won goal of a month for BBC, 1 month after the other. The first one was against Liverpool, and we all remember that one. And then the one against Wimbledon, I thought, and many other people thought, it was the week later. But it wasn't a week later, it was actually the month later. So it fell in the goal of the season for the 2 months on a bounce because of it.
Well, obviously, Scooby, I'm taking the piss because that's part of our problem. There's too much tippy-tappy bullshit. But the thing we're going to get to is the fact that every team is doing it. Some teams are just better at it than others. But ultimately, Man City are the ultimate team to do that. And we're not. But in the Championship, we do tend to do it to a lot of other teams because we can. And maybe we shouldn't because other teams now set up for it. But sorry, that's another conversation, isn't it? Is Joey Barton a good role model to the kids? I have no idea. Because I need a toilet break because that's when the Jackson thing tends to happen. Your Barrow definitely trend bar line. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Now that chant, that good old fashioned attack. Yeah. The one memorable game I remember watching, hearing that chant was the Arsenal-Liverpool game at Anfield in '89 when Arsenal needed to get that second goal.
Yeah.
And that's all you could hear from the Arsenal end was that chant for a good 10, 20 minutes.
I mean, that goal, Brownie, that goal /game is so famous, they made a film about it. But you can't really talk about that film now because under a modern lens, it really is a story about potential domestic abuse. Because basically, I'm sat there as a child because I don't really get what I'm seeing. So I'm like, basically, oh my God, how's he going to react when Arsenal scored a second goal? I'm like, that's really cool. But now, as an adult, I'm watching it fearing for her life if they don't get the second goal. Because I thought Colin Firth was going to go back round her ass and finish her off or something like that. It was awful. Anyway, I've maybe gone a bit far there, but isn't it weird? Toto Schillaci died the same week as Theo Jackson.
Yeah.
I mean, Lenny, it probably is a coincidence, but it's true. It's true. Anyway, can we get how much Brownie was receiving yesterday over the car? We will get there. I promise you. We've got things for this.
Hey, that's why I've been invited on.
So I want to roast some more. I wanted to put Junior Firpo's face on this, but I was a bit too lazy. But since leaving Manchester United, Sancho has basically been dropping assists. I say dropping assists, like there's loads. He's done 2. But it feels like a million compared to what Man United do.
I don't know what it was. That West Ham, the defending was absolutely. I'd be angered if I seen it in the Championship. That Jackson's second goal. What the defender already gambled by going one side of Jackson. By Jackson turning him, then he had a free run at the goal. It was schoolboy stuff.
That's what you get when you're West Ham. Sorry. Someone down at the Chelsea training ground was basically going, I just want a man who doesn't play games. So then Reece James walked up and went, hello, I'm Reece. I don't play any games at all. Sorry, is that too harsh? Anyway? Speaking about awful things, here's Man City's new home kit for the Champions League matches.
I've seen this one.
Just
that's a proper
disgusting.
90s pillow, isn't it? After you come back from raving,
yeah.
And all the sweat is all over the pillow, amongst other things.
It's funny you say that, Brownie. I've got one for Joshua as well. Sorry, I'm on the pulse for this nonsense. Sancho just hasn't got the players around him to shine their least, not collectively on the pitch at the same time. I think the real problem, in all truth, with Sancho at Man United was they sold him a bill of goods for like 2 years, maybe a year in the lead up to buying him. Like, come here, we'll build the whole team around you. And then 20 seconds after he signed on the dotted line and they paraded him, Man City tried to get Ronaldo. And then Man United were like, no, we've got to do something about this. And then they had to bring in Ronaldo. So it basically fucked all their future plans. I'm not saying they would have won the league or anything like with him or without him or whatever, but they sold him a plan. We're going to build this attack because, of course, you could build your attack over a player you paid 80 million for or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But then it became we actually now have to build it around this guy while Ronaldo stood there, his goofy grin or whatever. Like, you're nothing around here, mate, kind of thing. But I can't pretend I care about it. But it's
really I was in Spain at the time. And back then I was either working for a Spanish newspaper or I still had my connections. And Ronaldo was heavily linked to City, going to be signing for City. And then I had the heads up, but it was actually United coming last minute. But
you let in that first goal just to hustle me, said Brentford and Ipswich. I kind of smelled that Stefan was going to be lurking around here, these parts. So I had to throw this in. I can't help it. Sorry, but I know there's lots of drama in today's English Premier League. I understand it. I know this is a championship zone, but it's also a roasting everyone in the Premier League zone. And basically, I've got the image of what Manchester City really look like without Rodri. Thomas Cook, baby. Thomas Cook here.
I know, yeah. Richard Dunn. Well, Richard Dunn, Stephen Ireland.
That's quite a team.
I know.
Hello, Richo.
Lost to Middlesbrough.
One of my favourite things was last week I started talking about Everton And then Richo, noted Everton fan, just randomly appeared as if he was summoned like Beetlejuice. It was incredible. But seriously, hello, Richo. Incredible. Good to see you, mate. Who is the next Cardiff manager? Ronald McDonald?
I think it's going to be. I think this is a Warnock situation. What Cardiff are in now is a proper Warnock situation. Fucking shite fucking team. What on the pitch off the pitch all over the place. It's enough time now to. I'd be very surprised if it wasn't Warnock coming back, and especially he was in attendance on Saturday. And another thing, it's quite a new Warnock type of mindset. I think, to be honest, Bullet. I think his days were numbered a week or two ago. But it's quite a new Warnock type thing to do. We're thinking, okay, yeah, I'll take the job on condition. But that condition is after the Leeds game. Because I don't want the result of a Leeds game going against my fucking... because that does happen. Managers want to get off to good starts.
It's good stuff. It's good stuff. Hi, Island hubcapped fish tank. Ground share with Wrexham next year, Richo. And Everton are getting pumped like a Vietnamese streetwalker in 1971 Saigon. Wow, that's quite a reference, Mr. Green.
I know. I was going to say something, man, about Agent Orange, but I thought, no, it's not you a channel.
But I was going to ask a simple question. Basically, how many kids have you got born coming? How many kids are you going to be birthing? Or how many kids are women going to be birthing on your behalf in the next 20 minutes? And Carl Walker answered the question with 2. I was like, cheers, Carl. but that was almost. I was actually asking him as well, like how many goals you conceded today. It was. Sorry. I couldn't help it. But I've also, Brownie, I've got a live tactical feed down to Arsenal's lineup in the second half today.
Yeah, I know. I'll be honest with you. In the end, I felt sorry for him. If I'm honest, I did feel sorry for him. I know some of the people in the chat were in the chat in which I was in earlier on, but I thought after about 70th minute they had done it, but obviously not.
No, you're right, Lenny. I should leave him alone. I should just pick on the rest of his team. Everton be good soon. Trust me, we're defending shit, but attacking. Put it on stream. What's that? By coincidence, now I can't tell you why Arsenal were defending like that, but I do have a photo of Michael Oliver doing something shady. Oh, good. My laundry is done. In a bag with the $sign on it.
It's you brought up that Martinez double-footed at the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
And it's not as if officiating in the Premier League, they don't try and hide it now, do they? They don't hide the, in my opinion, it's full corruption. I've always said it, since the 90s. I've always said it's too much money in football for it to be clean. No matter what. Yeah. It's too much money in football for it to be clean. People have been saying, oh, no, over the years. What are you talking about? A footballer doesn't need to earn a few grand now, down a bookies simply because of the amount of money he's on per week. But I'm telling you, the dark arts who used to take out the fucking floodlights in the likes of Charlton in a midweek game.
I remember that. Charlton Wimbledon, wasn't it, on a Monday night? Before we get into actual football, just got a live footage of basically the videotape the old style video game that Arteta put in at half time because he wanted expert advice for his second half today.
Okay.
Welcome to Jose Mourinho's Parking the Bus Challenge.
Oh, I know.
And I've got live footage of Arsenal versus the referees. If the ref blows his whistle, stop kicking the ball. But also, Mikel, I was a political prisoner. How were you a political prisoner? I kicked the ball away. Do I have to draw you a diagram?
I know. It slightly annoyed me, the amount of Arsenal fans who basically refused to point any fingers at Trossard earlier on.
I'm pretty sure it was Monday Night Football and it got abandoned, if I remember rightly.
Yeah.
I could be wrong.
He went back to Far East, didn't it?
Yeah, but I mean, if I was to legally rig a game, that would be the one.
People. Hey, I'm saying nothing because we all know the owner of Wimbledon at the time.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Mr. Hammam.
I did have his number in my old phone, so no, I don't want.
But also to speak of like Mr. Trossard getting his marching orders today, I think I can't help but think he might have had a different outcome if they'd let his dad ref the game, like he usually does with Arsenal games.
Yeah.
I'm seeing double here, 4 Trossards. It's uncanny that he looks like him.
I know, yeah, you're right.
And so just basically, I'm channeling every Arsenal fan into this one. I've supported Arsenal all my life. I'm only 34 years old.
I'd say that about Cardiff. I think I'm going to have to put just for men. After this season, I'm going to have to go just for men because of the amount of grey hairs they're giving me.
I agree with it. Yeah, though inconsistently, there were 2 City players that done it first. I mean, ultimately though, the fact is, your club there's clearly form that if your players do it, you're going to get punished. So just don't do it. Don't do it, and then complain that other people are doing it. Just don't do it. And then worry about them not getting punished for it when you're not getting punished for it because you ain't doing it. I could be entirely wrong there because I know football don't work like that and people try and get every margin they can, especially in that sort of match. But
if I look at the Rice and the Trossard issue, I thought Rice was more to blame than the Trossard issue. I do think that Rice was more up to his dark arts than Trossard was, I think. But that's just my personal opinion.
I mean, I know I risk hurting a lot of feelings with this one. And I risk like killing the viewership, killing the town. Like people will never come back around these parts. But I saw it and I was like, I really can't help this. I was like, this is Arsenal looking for their Champions League trophy. So half the viewership has disappeared. No, you're all great. But this involves Arsenal, this next one. But it's not really at their expense. Basically, someone messaged Charlie Patino on Instagram and basically got a response from Charlie Patino because he was complaining about the virtual on Football Manager version of Charlie Patino. And then he told this guy who messaged him to basically tell his computer counterpart to go fuck himself or whatever it was.
Well, I haven't seen that.
Yeah. No, it's all right. It's out there. It's out there. For anyone that saw that. We're going to move on to another club that I can't stand. Sorry, why are people complaining about Arsenal defending with 10 men in the second half? What are they supposed to do with City with 11 men in the first half? I mean, I personally...
I'll be honest with you. I thought it was absolutely fantastic defending. I really did. You could see it at one point, in around about the 85th minute, the ball went upfield, basically pumped upfield to give them some time to some time, basically. And Man City defenders swept it up. But the camera went on a wide shot, and you could see, at one point, all the players all over the place. I thought, now they scattered a bit. I thought Man City could hit them on a counter here. But all of them, they just come back to the final 25 yard in a unit again. I thought it was a very professional job by Arsenal and how to do 10 against 11. You can't tell me with nowadays, and the card's been easily dished out, that teams don't train some points of each week going 10 against 11. And I thought they'd done it to the T, barring the last few seconds.
I'll say this. In the lockdown season, the one Leeds were in the Premier League, we played Manchester City at the Etihad, and empty because they legally had to be empty. We went down to 10 men. Liam Cooper was sent off, arguably rightly so. Doesn't really matter at this point. Don't play for us anymore. We beat Man City at the Etihad with 10 players. But again, Man City had like 80% possession because you have to let them have the ball. Yeah. You can't go toe to toe with them when they've got the extra man. And I'll be, like as you just said, Leeds spent all week training for a situation where you were going to end up doing 10 against 11.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's not really an indictment of the fact that we were going to have a player sent off. It was just in case that happened, you have to prepare for it.
Oh, absolutely.
The irony, Brownie, is that in the interview, they basically said to Marcelo Bielsa, did you do training 10 against 11? He lied to the camera and went, nah, it was all the players. Like they did all the work and stuff. But I tell you now, Sam Allardyce would have stood in front of that camera and gone, I knew we were going to get a player sent off. And in fact, I instructed Gary Cahill to get himself sent off, and just so we could give us a bit of a challenge or whatever. But still, thing that happened.
But it just shows the amount of cards which are dished out nowadays. It's just inedible that you're going to be in a 10v11 situation at one point.
Well, I was. The last image was about Charlie Patino. Do you know of a football agent that has one client that's named Charlie? This is genuinely true.
Harry Kane's brother. I've seen this as well.
Charlie Kane is the only football agent I know. I was about to say I personally know. I don't know him. I only know him because he fucking looks like him. He's Harry Kane's agent because he's his brother. Admirable, fine. My issue is, you have one client. Why are you turning up to the office in a full suit? Like you've got people to impress. Like what are you doing, sir?
Yeah, because you do. I think it's more and more popular now, isn't it? A family member being your agent. A lot of the time, it could be the player's father.
Yeah.
You don't do promotional fucking photos in an office. So you're all suited up. Do you know what I mean? You'd rather just be realistic. You're sitting in front of fucking watching This Morning with a bowl of fucking cornflakes.
As Russ Morgan says, you'd work from home in your PJs. He sat there in full suit with, and I've not had a proper look at all the photos, but I presume they're all of his brother. It's like, because he's his only client. He's not got photos of Neymar, is he? I mean, Neymar would have photos of Neymar, clearly. But, so a good point there from Russ. Typical Instagram loving Cockney. I know. Don't love Instagram. Got one more with the definitive biography of Ange Postecoglou, Australia's first Premier League manager. And naturally, we had to review it using The Simpsons, where basically at the end you repeat the word mate over and over again.
Well, I'm getting it going to the shop and all that at the moment,
Oh, Russ Morgan, you are a character. So does on the Spurs train, of course. There are only 2 teams in this league to which Rob Fell said Tottenham would still finish third. I'm inclined to believe it because it's Tottenham. Also, speaking of Tottenham, it might be. It probably is, to be fair. I didn't want to research it because you type one thing into Amazon one time and then you get emails up the wazoo.
Oh, I know. I bought a book the other week. I still haven't read one page yet. I need a flight.
Oh my God! Look who it is. It's
Gary.
Yeah.
Hi Gary. Hope you're well, bro.
Look who it is. It's the delectable Gary, in the words of friend of the channel, Bandit Fonoski. Yeah. I mean, I'd call him something else, but we'll go with what Brandy called him. It sounds a lot nicer. How you doing, Gary? In all seriousness, Lidl. It's in Lidl. Sam Greenwood's calling Russ a cheap slag. I mean, it's direct, but I can't necessarily disagree with it. Even though I'm sure he's a married man. I'm sure he is. Piddle. I don't see Gary's message. Gary is messaging through Brownie's stream, I believe.
Oh, is he? I don't know who's on there.
To my understanding, all the comments down the side that have the paperclip are ones that are watching through your stream.
Right, okay. First time I've ever done it, to be honest.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. As I did promise, we did have Anthony Joshua stuff. Basically, Anthony Joshua has lost every single one of them belts since he posed on top of the Tottenham Stadium. The facts don't lie. The Spursy, he became Spursy.
Well, he's been battered more times in a ring than Philip Schofield.
Of course he has.
Sorry. It's not a late night show.
I mean, for you, it's basically children's TV, Watershed. But anyway, and the last one before we go into the actual last ones. This new updated Champions League table. I mean, Spurs are still not doing well in it.
It's too early in the morning for me for this because this pisses me off. Even the old format pisses me off. I prefer knockout football. Where the jeopardy is so intense. Right? You lose, you're out.
Yeah, but the jeopardy here is so intense that Spurs are still bottom despite not being in it.
Well, it's only of doing all this. There's only 8 teams which get knocked out completely. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's my understanding. Top 8 go through. The next 16 go into a playoff where they'll end up. The winner of that will end up playing the top 8. And other than that, that's as far as I care about it because obviously we ain't in it.
Yeah.
But so the last 2, because I was surprised. I managed to get this much content out of it. But Richo, where are you, my mate? Richo, my Everton buddy.
Go on.
Everton with the lead is a little like the mule with a spinning wheel. No one knows how they got it, and danged if they know how to defend it.
Something crazy going on there, isn't it?
Yeah, but no, I love how they're training their team from top to bottom throughout the age groups to actually play like the traditional Everton of modern football. Because basically, their youth team also bottled the 2-goal lead.
Yeah. I seen this.
Richo, I'm going to need you to explain and defend this. You scored 2 in the first 16 minutes, and then you lost.
Yeah, I seen that.
Even knockout football lost its edge. Big teams sit back.
I kind of agree with Powerfully's point there. However, I think I think Man City tried that tactic last year, and it went then to penalties, and Real Madrid knocked them out.
Paper bag, okay. Yes, just and the last thing I got before we get into the football match, I was hoping Ben had got back from work by this point, but still, we'll proceed, of course. He has got the link. Josh Warrington left his gloves in the ring last night. People go, why are you talking about Josh Warrington? Why are you talking about boxing? Blah, blah, blah. Well, obviously, because he's from Leeds, and he actually held world title boxing fights at Ellen Road, which obviously was a big thing for Leeds back when we were.
Well, it was against Cardiff. Barry boxer, basically, but from Cardiff area, and a Cardiff fan as well.
But yeah, so thank you for what you did for the city of Leeds, I suppose. I think on behalf of there may be people in here that are from Leeds, and obviously I'm sure they appreciate what. I mean, I'd appreciate Frank Bruno because he's from my town, kind of thing. But
yeah, he won with what was I? He was from a boxing family in Barry. His brother boxes as well. He won he first won his belt there, and that was at Ellen Road. I'm sure someone will come up with it now. And my ex-wife knew the family.
Oh, Palfy's got an explanation. Let this blue nose explain. We are either training lads too hard or not enough. They're either tired or not fit enough. And
no, not Nicky Piper, not Nicky. I can't remember, man. Hang on 1 second. It's one of those things where.
No, I know you're not, Jimmy, but I sort of consider it similar because obviously you live nearer to Leeds than I do. Therefore, you're more local. You're a local Leeds lad, even though I know you're from Wakefield. Sorry, not that I mean to dox you on the internet, but still. Calzaghe fought in Leeds against Nicky Manners, if I recall correctly.
Selby, wasn't it? Was Lee Selby, I think?
That sounds right.
Yeah, it was Selby brothers, isn't it? But I don't know if it was Lee or Andrew. I think it probably Lee. I think he fought Lee Selby. All
right, so let's get down to it. Near the 1 hour mark of the show, the scene of the crime, the Cardiff City Stadium. Did you not call it something else last year, or has it always been the Cardiff City Stadium?
Well, it's always been the Cardiff City Stadium. I'm thinking of Swansea. That's one thing in which I do have to give. One of very few things I have to give the owners credit for is that over the years since it was been built, it's never been sponsored. They've never allowed it to be sponsored.
That's surprising, considering that's the easiest sponsorship you can get, generally speaking.
And that it was in Premier League as well. Apparently so. They used to turn back a lot.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, personally, I think it looks quite nice. This is the thing we do, Brownie. We judge all your stadiums in the Championship.
Yeah.
On a weekly basis, we judge all the stadiums. We hold them up to serious scrutiny. We also judge the amount of shit around the stadium. Norwich is looks like an industrial state, not a state.
I know, but I'm one of the old characters. Don't get me wrong. Ninian Park was a second home. Ninian Park was a second home. We needed a move to progress as a club, but the memories of Ninian Park was great.
Russ, the reason I don't have a photo of it at night is because the game wasn't at night, so I couldn't be bothered to find a double photo of it. I used to do that for the wrestling. We're Monday Night Raw is live from Topeka, Kansas, or whatever, and this is what the arena looks like, what the Knickerbocker Knob Arena or whatever, and it goes, this is what it looks like at night, and it look a lot. They all look better at night.
Bremen Sports, were you at that FA Cup game, man? That infamous FA Cup game. He says,
"Hello, Gary." And so I do. Excuse me. Hello, Tariq. Good to see you, mate. Actually, send me a message. Why is your show not on? I'm like, because the show's gonna be late, mate.
Fair play.
Yeah, he's like, he wanted his weekly dose of Leeds United nonsense. I'm partly Cardiff nonsense. Well, it's all nonsense. It's all basically it's mainly been about every other team apart from ours. But we'll rectify that. It's fine. Yeah, he wanted to know. Ninian Park was a nasty place with respect. Yeah, I mean, that's how you wanted your ground to be seen, right?
Yeah, that day out, that memorable FA Cup victory. But let's be honest, yeah, right? It just shows what Bremner, and I'm assuming Bremner was there on that day. What him and his fellow Leeds fans. Rio Ferdinand was interviewed after that game. Oh no. After the game, you played Galatasaray a few days later.
No.
What's that?
No, that's one thing you slightly misremember from it. Basically, Rio Ferdinand did say it was the worst place he ever played. It was the nastiest place he ever played. Because it was a nasty game, wasn't it? If I remember rightly, our centre-back pairing was actually Michael Dewberry and Jonathan Woodgate, where they were not talking to each other because Michael Dewberry, a couple of months before, testified against Jonathan Woodgate.
That's right.
In the trial of his life.
You were top of the league, man. You were top of the Premier League, man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's totally not relevant to the question of the week, but okay. Spoiler, it's totally relevant. It's actually really important to the question of the week. Anyway, sorry, we've got Fratton Park was a horrible hole to the away end. Was a wreck. Brownlee left the country, got his artwork for the safe deposit box. Safety deposit box. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I may have slightly misremembered that. But it suited my story for it to actually have been what I said. So, just going to go with that anyway. But yeah, Knickerbocker Knob Arena. It's naturally a New York arena, obviously, because they're a bunch of knobs. So, sorry, what? What's that? Oh no, wait, sorry, I meant to be talking about New Jersey. Hello, Gary, how you doing? Forgot about that. Woodgate potentially would have been one of the best defenders this country ever had, but that, in my opinion, injuries and that trial really fucked with him.
Yeah, but
which he should have done because he was fucking guilty.
Yeah, with Woodgate. Oh, who was that fucking Big Brother fucking contestant who he was banging for a few years? What's her name now?
I have no idea. I stopped watching Big Brother after about.
No, but he was at Leeds then, and I think she absolutely killed his bloody his legs off, basically his groin area.
Oh right, I see.
Which then led to injuries further down the line.
Your dad got bit by a police dog at the FA Cup game in 2002. That's quite a story.
She got bitten by a...
I mean, I can believe it.
I was actually on the pitch on that night.
Because did she win it? Is her name Kate? Kate something.
Yeah, Kate, oh, fucking hell.
She was the only one I could think of that was half decent.
Yeah.
You could believe that a footballer would notice her.
I think doesn't she like present on Virgin Radio or something now?
Yes. Yeah, Palford. Don't ask me what her last name is. I don't know, but I know her face. Anyway. And for anyone who wondered, this is the scene of the crime. Cardiff posted this yesterday, so it's basically good as new. Basically, this.
Yeah. I still hate those red seats at the top, but that's the only red left in that stadium.
Was it all red at one point?
Kate Lola. That's it. Yep. That's it, Stefan.
Because of course Stefan knew. Okay, yes, bang on. Hi, Tom. No, my name was Ginger Ellen, and went everywhere with the Griffin branch. I got nicked for assaulting the dog handler, but charges dropped as I'm sure he's going to finish that up. I grabbed the dog lead, not the handler or the dog. That does actually sound correct, to be fair to Stefan.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank fuck for CCTV. Kate Lauder from Big Brother. Yeah.
She
now you said that, she was knocking about with Woodgate for a while, wasn't she?
Yeah. But I think they went living together. I think it was proper serious. I think she went to Real Madrid with him as well, didn't she?
Come back next week where we discuss what happened to the contestants of Big Brother 5.
It's like a gossip magazine.
And what footballers they ended up knocking off. But anyway.
Hey. I don't know about knocking off, but I knocked a few out over Kate Lola, that's for sure, back in the 90s.
This is a great story. Sam Greenwood said, my brothers went to Villa Park for the semi-final with Man United in 99. We all know which one. I can't look at hairy carpets the same way ever again, because fucking hell, the rug on Ryan Giggs should have come with government health warning. Dejected on the way to the car after the game, a pigeon crapped on one of their heads. It could have been worse. It could have been like Ashley Young, where it crapped in his mouth. He to this day is like, that bird never shit in my mouth, and it's like, it's on camera.
Hey, hang on. Nothing. Don't slag it off until you try it. Not that kind of bird, a different bird, but never mind this. I can't believe it.
Is it 8 o'clock in the morning where you are?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, 8.
Good old Brownie. Okay, so I'm gonna stick your starting lineup up and just say whatever you want about it or what you would have changed. I know your temptation will be to say all of it, but still, just whatever you think. This is how you turned up against Leeds.
What I've changed? Cardiff got a problem with both keepers, but I would say Sopius not good enough. Rose not good enough. Callum Chambers have been a very big disappointment. Up front, Tanner not good enough. Kanga been a waste of money. So the only if I was in charge, the only players in which I would have confidence in a championship level is NG, Fish, Bagan, Rose, Colwell.
Is his name actually NG? Like, is there not like?
Yeah. It's like, well, it's pronounced Ing, I think. It's like Malaysian, Vietnamese type of.
Yeah.
But he's quite a solid defender, and Kanga, absolute waste of space, man. We had him from the German second division.
Okay, Kanga needs tying down like a Roo Brownie. Why do Aussies tie down Roos? Make theme music. I'll see what he did there. Kangaroo. Yep. NG, number 9.
No, normally like number 2, I think. But then again, I'm going on old-fashioned numbers, 1 to 11.
I think he's referencing something, but I don't know what it is specifically. But I know it's going to turn out to be something, because obviously, why would you say that? I forgot Chambers was at Cardiff.
Yeah.
Is that Callum Chambers?
Yeah.
Is that Callum Chambers in the photo? Or is that someone else? Don't.
No, that's Tanner.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's a song. I thought it might have been. So, I don't know.
Willock, we've got Willock. We brought Willock in, and to be honest, Willock has been the only shining star.
Is that Joe Willock?
Joe Willock's brother.
Oh, okay.
Chris Willock. And we had a guy from Villa who hasn't featured. We've been buying these players, most of them haven't featured. And so it kind of like comes to me, I think, is this guy actually in charge of the transfers? Do you know what I'm saying?
Never know what Rolf Harris got up to. Never know sorry. Never know what with Rolf Harris got up to.
Can you see what it is yet? Can you see what it is?
I don't see people talk about didgeridoo much anymore.
Oh no, I just thought as he's unzipping his trousers. Can you see what it is yet?
Oh my god. So obviously this is our starting lineup. Obviously I was hoping Ben would be back from work, so he would go through this for me. But generally is what it is. The greatest player in the world, Firpo. Speaking of which, I forgot where I put it. I did manage to get an item from the Square Ball podcast, which is a Leeds podcast.
Okay.
I got my Junior Firpo mug with "How May I Assist You?" because he is the championship player with the most assists in 2024.
Oh, okay. I was looking at the lineup there, Tom. And
yeah.
Apologies, I haven't looked at Leeds a lot this season so far. But it's only two Welsh players, Roden and Ampadu. Have the other Welsh players gone now? Were they on loan or what?
Well, no. Carl Darlow is the sub goalkeeper. Daniel James is injured. He got injured, I think it was just before the international break, if I remember rightly. So he'll probably be back after the international break, the October one. And Connor Roberts went back to Burnley because obviously we loaned him from Burnley.
Right, okay.
So that explains why we went from 5 Welsh players to 2 or 3 if you include the subs bench.
And how's Roden and Ampadu doing?
I feel a lot of Leeds fans are going to say that Rodon is basically played really well until he got his permanent deal. And then he's not been playing well. But in my mind, we've basically got 4 clean sheets out of 5 games. So I think he's doing fine. Personally, I think he's a good player. We got him for a good price, 10 million for a championship, top level championship defender.
Yeah.
Can't really go any wrong. International.
I think going to Tottenham was a wrong move for him in the first place.
Far too soon. A big leap at the age. Don't get me wrong. You totally get why they do that leap. Because the money and because you're quadrupling your wage instantly.
But I think West Ham was still look. He's a Swansea player. Do you know what I mean? But I think West Ham were in for him at the same time, and I always thought that West Ham would have been a better fit for him rather than Tottenham.
You're probably right, but at the same time, I think there's a lot to be said for. No, actually, what I was about to say doesn't make sense because I was going to say some football players are best served not being in London, but obviously going to Tottenham puts you in London anyway, so it's rubbish.
I think going back, I reckon Ben Davies may have had a lot to do with it at Tottenham because he was from Swansea as well.
Why do you loan Finney to us? We couldn't stop him from Jack Harrison, I believe you're talking about. We loaned him to you because he wanted to play in the Premier League, and he has a loan clause that he has a clause in his contract that for as long as we're not in the Premier League, he can leave on loan to whoever's willing to pay his wages, his Leeds wages. And personally, I'm happy to see him go because generally, if you don't want to play for Leeds United in the Championship, I totally understand it. But at the same time, I don't want you playing for us if we ever get back in the Premier League. I want players that want to play for Leeds, not depending on where we are or anything like that. I'm sure most teams would be the same. Yeah, we invented this. Our former director of football, Victor Orta, invented this really unique contract where basically, if we get relegated, you can go wherever you want on loan. I think Harrison got it continually. Some of the players, it's only available for 1 year.
I got you. I've never heard of that before.
No, you probably won't have, because it's really bad. Like, who would actually agree to that? Like, I imagine every player would agree. Every player would want it, but I can't imagine many clubs would give it.
So basically,
enter Leeds United.
So basically, Jack Harrison's had more loans than Northern Rock, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah. We loaned him 3 years in a row, like 1 year loans. Like, well, can we have him on loan, Man City? They're like, yeah, we've got about 900 players. Of course you can have him on loan for a year. Bielsa in second year. Pep, my student. I don't know why I'm putting on that voice like it's Godfather or something like that, but anyway. I mean, to be fair, of course Vardy stayed loyal because they were paying him like 300 grand a week in the Championship. Probably exaggerating. Probably like 150. But still. It is really bizarre, Stefan. Jack more loans than Rick Harrison. Yeah. Same first for me. Cheeky as fuck. So it's all over the place. Cardiff with their formation, according to Google, what Google thought it was going to be.
Yeah,
it quickly devolved.
Half, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He didn't last long, but yeah.
How long do you think it took for it to go into 2 banks of 5?
Well, if I'm honest with you, before the game, I thought, you know what? Because of all the abuse, I wouldn't call it abuse, but the amount of stick the players got by allegedly downing tools, I thought, you know what? We could actually come out fighting for this Leeds game. Now, Bagan, he hasn't been starring of late, so he comes back into the team. And what does he last? 20 minutes before getting sent off?
What did you make of the red card, right? Because I thought it was very harsh.
I thought it was harsh as well. But I thought it was harsh. But he was too easily turned in the first place.
Well, the thing I was gonna say about it, like, credit to, and I very rarely have anything positive to say about Willie Friednonto, but at least he got straight back up and carried on running.
I agree.
Which I think is actually the reason he got the decision.
And not necessarily why. Bear in mind, the championship doesn't have any VAR, so the referee wouldn't have had any help, in front of a TV. The TV set.
Hello to Explore the UK with me. How you doing?
The players have put themselves in a position, right? I think it's more in a rumour where the players, wanted the manager out. My opinion has always been, okay, no problem. Why didn't they go to the owner before the summer? So the new manager would come in, he'd have all the summer, and he wouldn't have that wasted fucking 5 or 6 games now going into the season. By doing it this way, they fucked this season up as well. Okay, so this season is just now another season of fucking survival in the championship. Right.
I still think we're going to the table at some point.
Well, I mean, you can look at Sunderland. Every season, people remember Roy Keane taking over at Sunderland, where they were in a relegation at Christmas time, and then they went up. I don't know if it was champions or it was...
no. They were in the bottom 3 after 3 games, and they won the championship. Like, basically, it was very early. He came in the third game and then overturned it. What I think more is you have time to turn over a relegation. I don't think you're going to win the championship after having 1 point in 6 games, but you're by no means relegated. Like,
no, it's enough time. But my point being is that by doing it this way, by doing it this way, we've just wasted a number of games, which means a number of points. Imagine the anger. Okay, if for example we got organised on the park now because the manager's gone. Imagine the anger the players come the end of the season where we may be 3 points off fucking a playoff place.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I'm in this league. I saw it in another Leeds podcast, the Square Ball, ironically. To be fair to them, this is the sort of league where basically if you lose a game and then you win your next 2 games, everything's fine.
Yeah.
Because if you win 2 out of every 3 games you play, you're going to, over a period of time, you are going to shoot up that table.
Yeah.
Because there are going to be teams that don't win 2 out of 3 games. You don't want to be one of them. But Neil Warnock is obviously going to come in and basically shore up your defence.
That's my opinion. I mean, there have been other, like, this owner is a hard guy to actually get on with. Yeah. He created, in my opinion, a racist argument against Malky Mackay to get rid of him and bring in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. We all know what happened there.
Let's get rid of him on the cheap, right?
Yeah. This guy is the same guy who got rid of Craig Bellamy when he was the under-21 manager a year or 2 ago and claimed racist incidents there. Again, to rip up his contract. Craig Bellamy has now gone on to Wales manager and he started off well.
I've got 2 questions I want to ask you about. I'm sorry, go on, mate. Sorry.
No, this owner is not an easy guy to get on with. Now, the cheap option is Warnock. He knows the owner, he knows the CEO, he knows the club, and he's out of a job at the moment. The other one could be Ryan Giggs, believe it or not.
Well, because he's out of a job. That because Explore UK Meet Wildcard, what about Giggs at Cardiff? He has more connections in BT, as long as they're not his brother's wife, obviously.
If Cardiff were not in the league position they are on now, I'd say, okay, let's move forward from the Warnock days and let's go for a Giggs or someone more modern. But given the situation, we need to start fucking winning. Given the situation, this, in my opinion, this is a Neil Warnock position, situation.
Question I want to go back a question to ask you. Do you have any take on before VAR you would get annoyed with a bad decision, but that was it? You had to move on, which is the thing that I like about. I don't like being in the Championship. It's unsustainable for a club. The longer you're in the Championship, the more you go backwards as a club. Generally speaking, you get the odd outlier, Ipswich, for example, that then go bosh or whatever. But in VAR, basically, I think if the referee gets a decision wrong in the Championship, it's done. You get up, you move on. You moan about it afterwards, but still, ultimately, the game itself continues. But VAR, it's 5 minutes of standing around, which I'm sure has implications for players' fitness.
I tell you what annoys me just as much as VAR, and it is modern day football, but it relates very similar. It's like where you get photos which are frozen, and I'm sure many people have played football, in their time. A photo can look mean or look many other things, And you look and you do a photo, standstill photo, and a guy, could well be going go over the ball. And it's like the freeze photos. I don't think that should be out there, because a lot of them, all slow motion fucking footage, a lot of them could be seen as far worse than what they are.
No, I appreciate that.
What I will say about VAR, right, is that what I have noticed at the championship level, maybe as a football viewing as a whole, but now you've experienced VAR, when you come out of VAR, you're not as critical against the decisions as you were before VAR. You can kind of say, okay, listen, the referee had a bad game, or I don't. The days of half a Man United team going around the referee, I think, are long gone.
Right. What I will say about this, I see what you're saying there, John. He said the offside rule should go back to seeing daylight between the player. Fuck giving offside for a toenail. But then where I get the sentiment of what you're saying, and you're right. But in execution, who decides where the actual line is? Where do you draw the line of, oh, that's just a toenail? Or
personally, I think that it should kind of like related, but it should be the body of you. If someone's 6 foot tall and they're up against, if Haaland is up against bloody a smaller defender, then Haaland's running kind of space between his legs is obviously further than the defender. So I think it's more of where the actual body is, where your stomach is. Just hope you don't have a beer belly if you're really up against it on the offside rule.
I mean, Russ has got an interesting point here. I didn't know until today that VAR could not get involved or can't get involved in second yellow decisions. And he then follows up with AI should do all the offsides, take away all responsibility from human, and there's not a debate. Where that will foul, Russ, is any part of the entire thing that involves a human, because somewhere along the chain, a human being is involved in the implementation of the AI. Something will go wrong there, which will impact the ultimate outcome. Humans make mistakes. No matter how much technology you put in our hands, things go wrong.
I think the referees are having an easy time of it in a way as well. They know VAR is out in the background, so a lot of the time they pass on the decisions until they get something in their ear hole, and
you're right. They create an environment where it's easier for the referee to go, I'm not dealing with this.
Yes. Whereas a championship, in all fairness to the referees, they take responsibility because they are the ones making that decision.
The automated offside from Euros was good. I think EPL gets it in December. I mean, ultimately, though, I think no matter what we do, the conversation will always be on decisions that impact the game, because there's always going to be something that impacts the game. And I do think a lot of clubs use it as a crutch, like emphasizing decisions that didn't go their way distracts from actual things that they as a club did not do in the game.
Absolutely. You see it by losing manager after every game. You see it by a losing manager. Do you know what I mean? Take West Ham Chelsea over a weekend. Where Chelsea beat them comprehensively 3-0. But the argument for West Ham was the controversial penalty, which they didn't have.
But do you know when that happened in the game? Like, how far were they already losing?
Yeah, they were 2-0 up. Chelsea were 2-0 up when that happened.
But then it's easy to go, but we could have got back into the game, but we didn't.
Yeah.
It's like, I remember a time when Leeds were 4-0 down against Arsenal and we scored 2 goals. It was at the Emirates, and basically there was a penalty shout where basically we, in my opinion, should have had a penalty, didn't get the penalty. But ultimately, I can't sit there and go, oh, but if we'd have got that, we'd have been, because I genuinely feel if we had got that, we would have been making 4-0 to 4-3. The momentum is with us, and that Leeds team at the time were very attacking. So there's no way we are not going for goal number 4. But the fact is, we didn't get it, and we lost, and that's it. Even at the time, I was like, well, it's irrelevant because we shouldn't be 4-0 down in the first place.
Yeah.
Got what we deserved, kind of thing. Yeah, I'm pleased we got back into it. This was like 4 years ago, but I think it provides a crutch for clubs to basically manoeuvre their own personal failings off of.
But exactly. I mean, if you watch that game, throughout the game, Chelsea went 2-0 up, but throughout the game, Chelsea didn't go out third gear. Do you know what I mean? So if West Ham did get back into it by getting that penalty, I have no doubt, because of the way West Ham were defending throughout the game, Chelsea could have gone on, had the third, had maybe the fourth.
Yeah. I suppose we should actually go into some of the granular details of the game, which I never really do. Obviously, I thought this was quite nice that before the game Cardiff put out the match program with a Soul Bamba on it. I mean, 'cause it's a unique situation. It's very rare you get 2 teams that had a player that was so universally liked, then play each other so soon after the death of that person.
That's right. I completely agree.
Very rare.
Completely agree. And a nice guy as well. Do you know what I mean? You always had time for the kids and everything, sign autographs outside the ground, and quite often he would be there for an hour or 2 after each game, continue to sign, to have selfies or whatever. Nowadays, you don't really get that, no matter what level. They all think they're Billy Big Bollocks. Do you know what I mean? And they all think they made it.
Stefan, if you're talking about what I was saying about Leeds at the Emirates, that was our Super Sunday. So I played that at night.
I think when Arsenal, when he played for Cardiff in the Premier League, weren't Arsenal interested in him at one point?
I have no idea if they do, but if they did, but I suppose we should. You know what? I'll type in Soul Bamba Arsenal, and there'll no doubt be some sort of clickbait article.
No, or it may have.
I mean, because there was a time where he was like a steady hand. So
yeah.
No, all the things about him are basically about his death. So
okay.
We'll have to have another proper look.
Because I'm talking a few years ago now.
Yeah. So obviously, pre-game, to be fair, all the players out there, all the staff, like doing their thing. Everyone's taking part in a round of applause.
Yeah.
And the game kicks off. But there was a pre-arranged thing between both clubs that on top of the applause before the game, because his number was number 14. I believe his number for Cardiff was 14.
That's right, yeah.
I can't remember if it was for Leeds. In the 14th minute, the game will stop for a minute and everyone will applaud again, as they should, because he was great. And Leeds United were basically like, yep, we're going to stand up. We're going to applaud this man because his year and a half with Leeds United was fucking fantastic. The Cardiff bench were basically like, what? Have I got to stand up again?
Oh, it's fucking cringeworthy, I tell you.
Disappointing.
Just looking at that, it's got me in fucking anger. Listen, right? And because I've had a couple, 1 or 2 people say, "Oh, look, they focused on the game." What the fuck are you talking about, man? Listen, right? imagine you being, and it's not just the staff, it's the players behind, it's the substitutes sitting down behind as well, right? You were sitting there, now what we're talking, 20 people maybe in total? You were sitting there, even if you forget because you concentrated on a game, which is a bollocks fucking excuse anyway. And all of a sudden, everybody in the stadium suddenly stand up and start clapping. The scoreboard puts a photo of him. No, both scoreboard put photos of him. The opposition bench right next to you are all standing up and clapping. You're trying to tell me that nothing would trigger in your mind saying, oh, right, oh, fuck, I forgot. Hang on, I better stand up. You're talking 15, 20 people there. Now, if that wasn't deliberate, I don't know what... It must have been a deliberate thing for all of them not to have something trigger in their mind. Shit, I better stand up, start clapping. That must have been a joint fucking agreement between them. It must have been. I can't think of any other fucking theory why that should happen.
I mean, yeah, they're going to have to answer for that some way because there are going to be questions like, why did that happen?
And what's pissed me off, I guess many people in the chat and yourself and many Leeds, they looked into it on social media. Listen, Cardiff fans as well as the Leeds fans, it's probably the only time they've actually come together as one in celebrating not just a man's life, but celebrating something. Yeah, right, because of the rivalry between both. But people would have seen, people would have seen the amount of anger Cardiff fans had towards that photo and the people involved. Okay? Now, it basically, straight away, it was happening in the game. But what's really annoyed me even more is that the press conference after, even though the local reporters knew about it, not one question to the manager was put of it. Why is that? It's because the reporters know what side their bread is buttered on. And they did not want to upset the club. The club attempted at that point to put it under the carpet, put the issue under the carpet. That's when I thought, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna do a video of it.
Yeah, to be blunt about it, I didn't ask Brownie on here just so we could shame him over this because he obviously all the Cardiff fans were good as gold about this arrangement. You can see here they're all stood up behind, they know what's going on. They're falling in line with it. For example, Brownie did send me this earlier, so I might as well let you know. I stole this from you because you sent it to me. Yeah. I was basically there were things being arranged, like Cardiff fans going out of their way to fundraise to have these flags made for the player and to celebrate the player. People went to serious effort for this occasion, and they know, with respect, most of them know they're probably not going to win this football match because of the way things are going for the team. But they were it's irrelevant. We're still going to turn up for the team for Sol. It makes you wonder why you bother sometimes, I suppose.
Yeah, even the club went out of their way. They met up with supporter groups throughout the week. How best to do this kind of he really was how best to do the kind of commemoration, of the day and so on. But maybe I'm a cynic when it comes to this manager and some of the players, but common sense would tell you that it must have been a collective thing for every single member of the backroom staff and the substitute players for one of them not to think, fuck, I better stand up and start clapping. It doesn't make sense.
Nah. I mean, more about that's naturally going to filter out because someone's going to talk about it. I suspect. I mean, I don't know, but usually does. I imagine most of them are going to like hope just not say anything and then it'll just go away because people will stop wondering about it. But I mean, because the bigger story is obviously the manager's gone, but that probably. I imagine they're not really getting questioned on it because why are you asking the manager when you know he's probably going to about 10 minutes away from being sacked?
Yeah,
but could be wrong. Anyway, obviously,
well, good news always covers the bad news, doesn't it? And you know,
no, you're
up
right.
until recently, very much like Everton as well, because I've noticed Everton's social media. The PR with social media is, I know.
Hello,
The PR with
John.
social media, no matter what club you are, it's kind of like fucking Gobos in World War II. Yeah, if you notice with Everton, every time they lose a game or they fuck up in a game, a day or two later, all of a sudden they fucking upload a new video of a stadium. Right? It's kind of like similar with Cardiff. At the moment, with Cardiff, they currently bought land of a new training facility, and they're starting to build a training facility. And with their PR, whenever something doesn't go right on a Saturday, you can guarantee by the Monday is a new fucking video of a training facility.
Yeah. I want to say hello to Director John. Again, the man that puts a lot of the graphics together for our show. It's very cool of him. I mean, I haven't shown you most of them yet because we usually do the game first and then go into his hard work, basically. But obviously our first goal of the season or of his tenure at Leeds for Largy Ramazani was a lovely goal. But also great celebration was particularly spicy.
I know. I mean, he does that kind of celebration to the home of Robert Earnshaw.
Big respect to Rob, obviously. I thought it was the closest you could get a football to it got so close to the inside of the post without touching the post. It was really impressive, especially because he turned. Obviously, the assist from Joseph was lovely, like, touch and the way he knocked it on. Like there was no way he was getting caught, and still,
he took it well.
You got fans. Palfy's a Director John guy, clearly. Cardiff hate Leeds nearly as much as they hate Swansea. Probably true.
Yeah, not nowadays. Not nowadays.
Nah. Well, we're now go on, Brownie. Sorry, mate.
No, I remember days where it wasn't much hatred between them. In my younger days, Swansea were always the smaller club. There was more hatred between Bristol City. Bristol City were our main rivals, but as time has gone on, the hatred with Cardiff Swansea has grown to, especially during the 90s.
So obviously half time was 1-0. I mean the match in general, in my opinion, just played out as like Leeds United target practice, especially after the 10 men.
The sending off killed it, mate. To be honest, the sending off absolutely killed it. I mean, I was thinking, how many this could be 4, 5, 6.
I mean, with the way this game's going, while it stayed 1-0, I thought there was going to be a lot of like, for example, I know someone on Twitter, he tweets a lot about Football Manager, but he supports Leeds United. And he actually, at 1-0, he actually tweeted, I've not got a picture of it, but the exact words were, "Can you sack a manager if you win?" He wanted Farke sacked. But then about 2 minutes later, after he tweeted that, we made it 2-0. So then he went, "No, actually, scratch that. We scored again." Because basically, it was for me, it was the fear of the fact that we might not win the game. Because there's every chance. In hindsight, there was no chance of you pulling away and getting an equaliser. But in the moment, it's the fear of what if Cardiff actually do break away and score?
Yeah. I mean, it's only 1 goal difference at that time.
Yes. we're very much the sort of team. We need 700 shots to score, but we only need to give the other team one shot, and it feels like you automatically become the Barcelona of finishing because it's us.
Well, before the game, you know, any Cardiff fan would have told you, you know, given the recent run of results and performances, would have said, "Oh, look, you know, we're up against it anyway," and you know, you can treble that probability when you're down to 10 men so early on.
Thank you, Rosie. I mean, like Gary, our friend Gary, was basically like, "Why do you look so sad that you lost?" I didn't fucking look sad that I lost. I was fucking relieved that we didn't fucking fuck it up. I was basically praying in my head, like I'm just sitting there, like on Gary's show. It's a great show. It's called The Road Trip. You should watch it. Not because I'm on it, partly because I'm on it, but partly because Gary's a good guy, despite what a lot of things he says to me. And but no, seriously. But I'm sat there, like, even Rosie was in chat, like, why you got a face like a smacked ass? I was like, I'm just fucking happy that we've not fucking lost. Because it wasn't convincing.
If we kept 11 men, I can guarantee you it would have been the sideways, backways passing derby, because we were renowned for it. And I know you guys are complaining about that kind of football Leeds are playing at the moment. You know, it just seems to me that clubs are now, you know, they keep in possession for possession's sake.
Yeah.
You know, and they're not doing nothing about it. They're not doing nothing with it, sorry.
Yeah,
and it's boring the fucking tits off me.
I get what you mean, because I don't necessarily 100% believe this, but I believe in the notion that I would be more entertained by watching Leeds just basically do a 3-pass move that leads to a goal, rather than watch Leeds knock the ball around for 4 minutes and then lose it in a very silly place to Cardiff. I think it'd be more entertaining if Leeds had a 2-touch football and then basically banged it in, like the ball gets chipped over the fence and one of them runs onto it.
Go back to the days of Chapman and Cantona up front. You know, I do think football has lost something since it's gone from 2 up front. I used to love the 2 up front kind of, you know, not so much big man, little man, but I think football's lost something. Now it's gone to ticky-tacky, possession, keep ball. You know, we mentioned it earlier on. Don't fucking hit screamers from outside the area or anything. It's boring, man. It's boring.
Yeah. Speaking of screamers, we brought on Joel Perreault in the 84th minute, and then 3 minutes later, it's 2-0. It was a great finish. Obviously, I understand that as a Cardiff man, you're not going to think it's a great finish. But for me personally, you swapped him with a striker. When we play him at number 10, he doesn't know what he's doing. But he knows what to do if you get the ball at his feet and just let him run at the goal. Fantastic. Perfect. It's actually a really great substitution option to have off the bench if Joseph is looking a bit laggy or what. I mean, in my opinion, part of the reason Joseph is the man up front and not him is because there's actually more money to be made if you can actually show Joseph as a striker. If you get what I mean. Like, if Joseph gets 20 goals, we could sell him to someone, because we barely paid for him. Whereas we paid like 12 million to Swansea. But there's more profit to be made off of Matteo Joseph if you can show that he can score goals at any level, relatively.
Leeds showed how you could how to play against 10 men. Just tire them out, and they'll come, and the openings will come later on. I mean, you know, you didn't mention the penalty miss. Do you know what I mean? The openings, as time went on, the openings become available.
It was such a bad penalty, I forgot about it.
No, but it's why people are being criticising Man City, because they didn't play that type of game. Do you know what I mean? And,
yeah,
what we mentioned the performance of Arsenal defending. But that's basically the way you need to go against 10 men, is tire them out and the openings will come. And that's what Leeds done to Cardiff very easily come the second half of that game on Saturday.
Yeah. Do you agree with this from Tariq of 4-4-2 should be football?
4-4-2.
Oh, right,
the famous words of Mike Bassett. Listen, maybe not 4-4-2, maybe not 4-4-2, maybe a 3-5-2. But
I think two people should be up front.
2 people up front. I think football's lost something. I think football, especially as they claim now, it's more of an entertainment.
Have a good night, Ross. So Tanner worked. Oh, sorry, I'm basically talking about Jimmy's drinking haunts. I think with football is that it is very cyclical in nature. It will evolve in different ways. Like eventually, someone with a big team will try putting 2 players up front, and it'll work, and they'll get lots of goals, and it'll be very exciting. And then mysteriously, another big team will put 2 up front, and then someone else will put 2 up front, and you'll end up eventually back with 4-4-2.
Well, I mean, it's got to a point now. Okay, you take Haaland out the equation. It's got to a point now where you're scratching your head thinking, where's the fucking strikers gone? Where, back in the day of the 90s, England had an array of strikers, didn't they? Shearer, Sheringham, Fowler, Owen. You could list them all off, Ferdinand. List them all off. But now you're thinking, where's the fucking strikers gone?
They're all becoming attacking midfielders because they know that's how they'll get on the pitch.
Yeah.
I could be wrong there, but that's what it feels like. So we won the game with respect, comfortably. But I, as a fan, in hindsight, it was comfortable. But as a fan sitting there, basically watching CFAX, the equivalent, basically like it wasn't comfortable at all. Because at any minute it could turn on a dime. One defensive mistake and you're in at 1-0. And especially considering, as you said, we missed a penalty and you're like, oh, here we go. Every bad football story begins with we missed a massive chance. Yeah. Very rarely you miss a big chance to add to your lead or go in front or whatever, and it not come back.
As a fan of the opposition, and you're 1-0 down, you always think there's a chance. Do you know what I mean? So you always think you're still in the game. And I'll be honest with you, until that second goal went in, I thought, you know what, something freaky will happen here.
Just for the benefit of anyone who is remotely interested in this kind of thing, these are the statistics for the game, as supplied by Director John. And I think, dare I say, this basically sort of like it passes the eye test, as in this is probably a reflection of what actually happened.
Yeah, especially possession.
Yeah, very rare you get 80% in a game when it's not Manchester City. But
I noticed the second half possession. I think with Arsenal, Man City, Arsenal had 18%. I think, or was it 12% or something?
I can totally believe it was that.
Yeah.
Because obviously it's similar. The fact is, one team was left command. So it is exactly how that should play out, realistically. There's only real chance of you winning anything in that game is basically you take advantage of that by making the other team work.
Tire them out. You tire them
out. Before we this is the results for the weekend, again supplied by Director John. It was very amusing that Sheffield Wednesday were winning through Barry, the tiara-haired Bannon, and then Luton scored twice, which was quite amusing. Sheffield United scored an excellent free kick from Gustavo Hamer. We're going to regret not buying him, I suspect. Burnley with
Millwall was an interesting one.
Well, and Burnley won in stoppage time.
Club, man. Stoke a funny club.
Yeah.
You know, they Bet365 pumped so much money into Stoke, and they just can't get it right, can they, in a Championship?
I get the feeling with Stoke, it's very much we're happy to keep this running because it means that the government basically think we're spending more on this than I think they're happy to think the government are spending all their money on Stoke rather than any other illegal dealings that they may be in. It's like, yeah, come and have a look at what we're like. Come and have a look at our books, but don't look at that book.
Yeah, it's a coach family, isn't it? With Bet365.
Which goalkeeper has played for both Leeds and Cardiff?
Michael? Kasper Michael, no? Did he play for Leeds?
Yeah. Did he play for Cardiff?
Yeah, he was on loan at Cardiff. Very, very early on, and we wanted to keep him, but he went back to Man City. He even spoke about his time at Cardiff in a recent interview.
Gary Sprake. Other than that, I wouldn't know off the top of my head because I only generally do that question for the home games. So, spoiler. For anyone. Next week's games, if anyone's interested, we have got Tony Warner. Oh, man. I remember Tony Warner.
Okay.
He played Leeds in 2006.
He wasn't that good at Cardiff, to be honest. We had him on
we got relegated. I'm pretty sure we got relegated with Tony Warner. I mean, to be fair, the whole team was terrible. But
there's Tony Warner and Kasper Schmeichel now, then.
Do you fancy having a result at Hull next week, or do you think new manager bounce?
It all depends if a new manager gets in there, but no, I don't. Hull is a difficult place to go to. Looking at it, you got Swansea, Bristol City, which is always an interesting one. Some good games there. Derby, Norwich could be an interesting one. Leeds, Coventry, you fancy it? Coventry, a tough team at the moment.
Coventry have actually, I found this out earlier, Coventry have only got 6 points out of their last 36 available in the Championship. Yet their fans they're not happy about it, but at the same time, they don't want their manager sacked because they know that their form picks up. They never start well. So they're quite happy to stomach this.
Did you see I was looking at the Blackburn QPR game. Did you see that Preston defender bite the QPR guy?
Yeah.
And the QPR guy got red carded.
Do you mean Blackburn guy?
On about Swansea fans and Coventry. Did you also see the Swansea fan bringing in
they brought in a dog.
A bulldog, yeah. With people say, look, I can't even bring a fucking cap for my bottle in, but
that was the most unscary looking dog ever, though. To be fair.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, I thought it was the guy's sister at one point, especially coming from Swansea. You know, but
maybe. So I'll put up the table. So obviously it makes for a bit of grim reading. But to be fair, you've got another 40 games, and
you
can more than overturn this. I mean, you need to start scoring goals, clearly. But
we had some difficult games out of our 6. Let's be honest. We've had Burnley away. We've had Leeds. Middlesbrough, Sunderland, we should have got something out of. But you take Burnley and Leeds, we were never going to get anything out of. Even before I would send no points there. But I'm looking at the table now. I'm thinking, right, is it 3 clubs which are worse?
Kobe Jones is the answer to that. It's either Kobe Jones or Roy Wegley. I can't pronounce it. It's one of those two.
No, Roy Wegley was the first one.
All right.
Kobe Jones did play. Roy Wegley was a first.
He followed him in.
Or to be honest, he may not have been Premier League. He may have been First Division. Because I know he played for Luton and he played for QPR, but I got a funny feeling it was First Division rather than Premier League. You go.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, right, is it 3 clubs worse? Plymouth, I say are worse. Sheffield Wednesday and Portsmouth. I think that could be Cardiff's saviour, really. Do you know what I mean? We got a better playing budget than it was 3, because normally, the Championship, normally the higher playing budget, the higher the club ends up in a league table.
Yeah, so I just find it very funny that Sheffield Wednesday had won the Championship on week 1. Like, because they beat Portsmouth, and to be fair, they did convincingly beat Portsmouth. Everyone decided that is it Ian Marshall?
Was it John Walk?
It's John Walk or Ian Marshall.
Maybe.
John Walk was their captain for about 20 years, wasn't he?
I know. Now, he's a defender, scored loads of penalties.
Yeah.
But we got Hull away, and if you look at Hull, I thought Hull's record was better than what it actually is. They've only won 1 game, but they've drawn 3. So,
that game was on Friday. They beat Stoke.
Yeah. So, if they've drawn half a games, then you may be able to get something out of it. I like the way you done with Swansea sign as well, upside down.
Okay, so
Oxford are doing well. I got a soft spot for Oxford.
I mean, I'm glad we're above Oxford because we weren't last week, and I just felt like a sense of shame in it. And I know I probably shouldn't publicly say that because I have no entitlement for my club to be better than Oxford, but there's still that part of you that is like, why aren't we above Oxford?
Yeah, I was on Oxford's books years ago when I was a teenager. But they were at this level. They were at this level at the old manor ground back then.
I mean, it is free content because I put stuff up on the community tab when I could be bothered.
Yeah, are you getting more interaction with the community tab now?
Yeah. I got an email from YouTube to say like we actually have statistics for you, and I was like, oh, that's nice. I was really pleased with it, to be fair.
Good.
But yeah, but still, when I've got nothing better to do at work or something like that, I'll find stuff, put stuff out there.
On about my community tab, powerfully put something about Steve Bull. I actually put Steve Bull and Andy Mutch on a post because those were proper old school front pairing. If I ever seen them.
Oh, they certainly are. Weren't he the only player in the old Division 3 that played for England? Or he got picked for England?
They were already promoted then, though.
Yeah, but it's like how they used to say.
The rumour goes.
Sorry, go on, mate.
I think it was a Scotland game. I think he scored against Scotland. Steve Bull scored. I think he replaced Guy Lineker. Stefan or one of the guys from this kind of era, remember. But I think he had kind of like 2-2 his England record, but then Guy Lineker kicked off in the changing rooms, and Bull was at championship level. He said, what's this guy coming in here? We can't be playing for England, And from the moment Guy Lineker kicked off to him, he never played for England again.
I can totally believe that, but
honestly, Guy Lineker had a strop. Because Bull replaced him and Bull scored. Guy Lineker had a strop in the changing room, and as a result, Bo never played for England again.
Gary Lineker being a bit of a fanny, that's shocking.
Well, we actually probably had the last championship player play for England, which was Jay Bothroyd.
Well, I was going to say, where I know that is not true is because we actually have the last championship player play for England, Calvin Phillips.
Go on, who was that?
Calvin Phillips, because he played for England before he played for Leeds against Liverpool in the opening game. They happened to do, because of how the lockdowns fixtures worked, England played Denmark on the Wednesday and Calvin Phillips played. But he had not played for Leeds in the Premier League yet because we hadn't started playing the Premier League fixtures.
I got you. Okay, I'll take that back then. We've lost that fact then, have we? Over time, we have lost that. We've lost that fact.
It depends on if you're generous enough to count, because Leeds hadn't started their season yet.
Bo, I think. Same as Steve Bo.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, that's what we were saying. That when he scored 50 goals in a season in the old division, it was something like that. I don't know the exact number. I believe it. Gary, you arsehole. Well, he probably pasted him up. All right. So, and obviously, because I felt like I should say, West Brom currently lead the table with their only non-win being against Leeds, because that's an imaginary battle.
What about Steve Bow? Steve Bow actually started off at West Brom and they sold them to the rivals Wolves, and the rest is history.
There you go.
50,000, I think. 50,000 they sold them for.
This is the part of the show where we go, let's rate the twat in black. This is Josh Smith. He is the referee of the game between Cardiff and Leeds. Coming out of the game, he has refereed 8 Leeds United games where we won 4 of them, drew 3, lost 1. He's actually refereed 9 Cardiff matches. How many of them do you think you've won?
Sure. At Cardiff's record, 2.
No, you've won 3 of the games that you played with him. You've lost 4 and drew 2 of them. I don't feel qualified to really judge his performance because I feel like I'm quite overly generous with the referees.
Well, obviously, none of them are this season.
That's fair. Okay, so this is also the time where we do the wanker of the week.
Sure. I go fucking.
Who would you say is the wanker?
Well, I say I got a list full, so I don't know how many players and staff were on that bench on Saturday. So
I should have just added it to that photo.
Take your fucking pick.
What I will say is, obviously, Ben did give me a name and why, and I'm going to read word for word what he sent me, why he wants this man to be named the wanker of the week.
Okay.
Not mine. I don't necessarily agree, but admittedly, I don't know who I'd name because we won. And, basically, he's picked Daniel Farke again for the second week in a row. I'm starting to run out of photos to use for him. He said, wanker of the week is Farke again, down to lack of intensity again and his pathetic amount of minutes given to substitutions against a relegation-bound opponent.
But personally, I think the game, as you mentioned, because it ended up being a training game, didn't it?
Yeah.
It's hard to judge. I would have thought, if I was a Leeds fan, that game would have been hard to judge. Because it was so one-sided.
That's what I want. Like I say, I was only nervous about the outcome, but I was relieved that we didn't fuck it up. So, like I said, people will be like, "Why aren't you cheering?" or "Why aren't you not like if we'd have won like a really tense, close-fought game 4-3 with Burnley or something like that, I'd have been going whoop yes sort of thing. But ultimately,
that would be the difference between a Warnock Cardiff side and a Bullen Cardiff side. A Warnock Cardiff side may have ran you a close a couple of times if you're down to 10 men. You know, it would have been a nasty kind of. It wouldn't have been a training game. It wouldn't have come across like a training game. I suppose that's what I'm trying to say.
But the reality is, I'm on a hide into nothing, because if I'd have actually reacted like over the top and like, oh my god, yes, we're the best team, we won. Ultimately, it's very easy to then go, well done, you beat the team that are 20th and the 24th and they scored 1 goal. Like, there's nothing to actually whoop about. I was just like, okay. In my mind, I was just like, quietly take the points, leave Cardiff and go home. So I did.
Yeah.
Because no matter how you celebrate, I just want the points. But no, obviously, I get what Ben means in the fact of, with Cardiff's current standing, we obviously should have looked to score more goals. But then, arguably, we had loads of shots. Fair enough, I'm on target. Your goalkeeper made a fair amount of saves. I think Ramazani had a big chance in the first half when we'd already 1-0 up. Should have been 2. It wasn't. You move on. You carry on. Shit happens. I mean, these are different conversations when you've won the game than if you, like last week, we had loads of chances, a few chances we should have scored, but we didn't. And then you actually have to discuss them.
Yeah.
But when you've won the game, there's nothing to discuss. Doesn't matter. You just go, next time we'll get them or whatever.
I agree.
But
I get it.
Joey Beecham was an Oxford legend.
Was a great player for Oxford. And Harry Redknapp has got a great story about Joey Beecham. Do you know
he wanted to go back? Yeah, I know he joined West Ham, but weren't it basically Oxford forced him out of the club because of the money that they were offered?
I don't know, but
he wanted to come home like after playing
so
one game for West Ham.
Swindon, then you ended up playing for Swindon.
Yeah. It was like, you could go, but the only team that's willing to give us any money for you is Swindon,
Oxford's
the rivals.
Yeah. Yeah, I met Joey Beecham when I was at Oxford. He sadly passed away a few years ago.
Oh, Joey Beecham?
Yeah.
I recall that as a story, like, because obviously then this story, that's how I know about his tenure at West Ham, is because he died and you read about what happened.
But over the years, I mean, Oxford, John Aldridge, Dean Saunders.
That they had some good players. I mean, in my opinion, they've actually recruited well. But they've recruited well because of how it's turning out. If they get relegated, they'll be in a lot of trouble financially.
A lot of them are former Cardiff players.
Mm.
A lot of them are former Cardiff. They've got about 3 or 4 different former Cardiff players in that team.
They have got a lot of like you say, Cardiff players. They've got a lot of championship experience in there, which will be very helpful for them. But if it goes wrong, it's going to be like those players are gone and they'll have no one and they've spent a load of money in wages and got relegated anyway. But then that's the case for any team that gets promoted and buys loads of players. Oh, hello, Stefan. So I was thinking of Ipswich then. Calvin's just collecting the paychecks at the moment. Same watching Real Madrid teams.
Who was about Stephen Warnock doing a bit of Hugh Edwards? So I don't know. I don't know.
I've not. The only bad things I've ever heard about Stephen Warnock are things you can laugh about on a podcast, but you know you're not going to get sued for laughing about him. Like, he's a bit of a knob. Not showing his knob.
I heard something. 1 second.
Well, while that's going on, I'm going to do one of our final segments before the question of the week. My personal favourite thing is where I trawl through Twitter.
All right, I heard something about Keir Starmer earlier on.
Yeah, because didn't he have to apologise for something?
Yeah, apparently,
sleazy, I believe it was.
You know, we're already trying to get him out.
I'll have to have a look at what he's done, but not literally what he's done. Like, I don't need to see all that, but Aldo.
Yeah, they won they beat QPR, didn't they? 3-0 in the 85 League Cup final. That was the days of Rupert Murdoch in charge of Oxford and Derby and everything, and didn't he want to merge Reading Football Club with Oxford Football Club and call them Thames Valley Wanderers or something like that?
You know, he's still playing. Sorry, Palfies. You know, he's still playing. He's now playing for an Icelandic team, I believe.
Yeah, he's in there.
He turned up in the Champions League qualifier.
And Football Brownie were the first ones to put that to the public. There you go.
You have found out a lot of things before the actual major publication.
That's because of Spain. It's because of Spain. I could get away with things in Spain because it's outside of the UK. It's outside of a civil court issue, and I had a few contacts for it.
Yeah, didn't he actually buy Reading? But then it basically government wouldn't allow it to happen. It was
I don't know, but he robbed the pension pot of Miller Group. That's for sure.
That sounds like some kid though. But at least he didn't do what his daughter did. Allegedly, the key thing. Allegedly, you can say whatever you want as long as you say allegedly after it.
yeah. But he allegedly killed himself, didn't he, off a yacht? But again, that's allegedly.
you have to have a lot of money to allegedly kill yourself off a yacht.
Yeah.
Allegedly being the ultra key thing. So we said allegedly a lot there, but obviously the right way that I know I'm probably not going to get a lawyer's letter tomorrow because again, allegedly I might not get that.
I remember I had a lawyer's letter from Man United because I was the first one to go public with the whole Mason Greenwood issue, and then Man United sent me the lawyers sent me a fucking letter. And it's like, you take it down or we'll take you to court. Well, I was in Spain at the time. So I was, okay, well, take me to court. It's not coming down. Do you know what I mean?
Well, but I've seen the video. Prove to me that he didn't.
Yeah, well.
Prove to me that he allegedly didn't. Sorry. Anyway. I can't confirm or deny that, Mr. Palfy. But let's get into a quick thing to end the show. Before the question of the week, which I promise you'll love, Brownie. The dipshits. Do you have any opinions on Andy Hinchcliffe and Don Goodman as commentators from your time watching the Football League in England?
No commentary, to be honest, because
co-commentary. I mean to say.
So I hardly listen to them, if I'm honest with you. Normally, if I'm watching something, I would put a watch along on. And I'd rather listen to the watch-along rather than the commentators. I mean, I remember Andy Hinch, Don Goodman, I didn't really rate as a player, if I'm honest with you. You know, he was at best championship level. But Andy Hinchcliffe had a good left foot.
His free kicks occasionally crop up. When I'm looking for things about him on Twitter, as in people's opinions on him, occasionally there will be a video of him scoring a free kick in the Premier League, which I can't deny him that. But I've never seen him lift the Ballon d'Or. But he talks like he has, which you'll find as a recurring theme in these things every week. It's generally the same thing, but I still like to find people's opinions on them. But the biggest thing I've learned from doing this particular segment is every team thinks they're both against them. No matter who it is.
Listen, we see it every time Arsenal lose. We see it all the time, don't we? Which is why today, I don't even know the guy. And he proper jumped on my comments to a point where I thought. You know, I even said, listen, mate, if my fucking comments fucking irritate you, don't read the fucking comments.
He's a nice guy, really, though. Like, I'm sure it's just the heat of the moment of the football. We've all been there.
But it's still funny.
Oh, it was. Waiting for Richard Branson to be exposed. They both biased bastards against Leeds. Don't get me wrong. I'm of the opinion that Hinchcliffe hates Leeds. But there's a lot of people that are of the opinion that Hinchcliffe hates Ipswich. Hinchcliffe hates Southampton. This is the thing that I've discovered the most. Apparently, Don Goodman supports Leeds. Now, I find that really weird because you wouldn't think it from basically how he talks about us. It's like, when like someone overcompensates to make it so you can't accuse them of being biased.
It's like, it's like, I don't know, but if you had a career with one club which you didn't support as a kid, would you then automatically support that club just as human intuition or not? It's like Jamie Carragher. I listened to Jamie Carragher do a podcast the other day, and he grew up being an Everton fan. But he said he stopped being an Everton fan the moment he made the Liverpool first team. So I don't know. Is that the kind of mentality players have?
I imagine it is very easy to transfer your allegiance to the person that's putting a lot of money and food on your table in that respect. Yeah. There'd still be that part of you that would look at for what the team you loved as a child were doing. I could be wrong there, but I couldn't. It's easy for me to say this because I'm not going to be a professional footballer.
Sorry, I get it.
Tom, you're never going to be a professional footballer. I know how much it hurts you to say this out loud. So I'm talking to myself in the mirror. I'm not going to be a footballer, mate. Sorry. But I like to think if I got a contract to play for York City, I'm still going to, as soon as my match finishes at 4:45, and go, how did Leeds get on?
Yeah.
A lot of players are like that.
I know.
But then you are some that just don't like football. It's literally a job to them. I find that fascinating. How do you know you're really good at football if you've never actually got into it? I find that such a strange thing to.
When people say they don't like football, I think it's because of their own personal. I think growing up, you must like it to get into it in the first place. But I think football, especially behind the scenes, such a dark industry where I think that you can't blame them if people see dark issues or dark things going on in front of their own eyes. It may turn them off your whole industry.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, that's a fair thing to say. I've never really thought of it like that, but you're almost certainly probably right. And
it's like all the backhanders and everything going on within the industry of football. Who was it? Was it Alan Sugar once said, if I knew what I was getting myself into, I would never have bought Tottenham in the first place. Because
George Graham loved a backhander, allegedly.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know why I'm saying allegedly. He got sacked for it.
Allegedly, many, you look at my club, yeah, and I've said it a few times. When Ole Gunnar Solskjaer went to Cardiff, he brought in 13 Norwegian players, all with the same agent as he had. And
did he literally turn up with them? Did he turn up with them in a crate or something? And he went open the crate and 13 lads marched out.
Actually shocking. And none of them were even championship level good enough, mate. None of them were championship level. There's always stories being about Harry Redknapp. Do you know what I mean? And yeah.
So I'll just go through the selection that I found. Not too many, of course. basically, Neil Harmon 57 says absolute overkill at Sky Football. A sofa full of talking heads for Sunderland versus Middlesbrough, and the overbearing host. I'm guessing that's David Pruitt. I think he's all right personally. Might be because he played for Leeds. Then a commentator who thinks he's a tactical wizard. Oh God, Don Goodman, and I pay for this non-stop drivel. Jeff Newman says at Sky Sports, Don Goodman is the most anti-Sunderland commentator I've ever heard. Almost like, as an ex-player, he feels like he can't state any decisions should go the club's way.
I mean, what was his career? I know it was West Brom, Wolves, wasn't it?
It was mainly Wolves, to my knowledge.
Yeah.
But he started out in the Leeds Academy. Because he didn't make the grade at Leeds, it's believed that he takes it out on us in commentary.
Okay.
I don't know if that's true. I mean, there have been times where it's felt true. But again, I don't watch him commentate every one of his games to actually know.
Yeah, I know. I'm the same. As I'm watching more YouTube now, or I get into the YouTube industry, it's kind of like I knock the volume down and then I listen to, or I watch someone doing a watch along or something, you know.
Oh my God, John Garside mentioned his dad felt the Valley Parade Stadium.
What stadium?
Vice chairman at Bradford, not me, Jimmy. Michael used to be vice chairman at Bradford City, and the rest of the family were all Leeds.
Okay.
My dad felt it that stand, Jimmy. I mean, I don't really know what to say to that. So
yeah, well, I done a video a couple of months ago, didn't I? When I went there.
Yep, you did. It's reassuring to see Simon Hooper is equally as bad with and without VAR. The standard of refereeing in England can never have been this bad. Don Goodman said he had a good game. I rest my case.
But honestly, I know it doesn't really get highlighted. I can only speak from a Spanish perspective when I was living over there for 5-6 years. But you know, people say, "Oh, it's not." You know, it is. If you go at the refereeing underneath, you know, the big teams, you know, it really is, especially like Segunda, you know, the Segunda Liga, which is what the championship level, or even lower down. I used to watch Marbella quite a lot, which were it's all regionalized, but
there's loads of divisions,
League One type of thing.
Yeah,
and you know, and it's just as bad over there. I remember in La Liga, a shot went through the side of a net, and I think that was Sevilla. I think shot went through the side of a net, and they claimed it as a goal. The referee went with it.
I mean, something that RC said, right, and I understand why people say it. So, like, it's kind of with a pinch of salt, so it's true. The amount of people go, you never see anyone complaining about the VAR in Spain or in Italy. I'm like, are you looking at the opinions of people on the VAR in Italy? Because I'm sure if you look for it, you'll fucking find it.
Yeah.
And they're not going to be sitting there going, oh, the VAR was brilliant in that game with Juventus, where Juventus got all the penalties. They're going, look, you know what I mean. But
no, exactly.
It's like, because you only see it in the Premier League. Yeah, because you only see it in the Premier League. It's not where it doesn't just happen here. Refereeing, people will always hate the policeman in any situation. And the referee is football's equivalent. It's the one person, the thankless job. You're never going to tell him he did a great job, but you're going to notice when he hasn't.
Yeah, I know.
John Goodman, that's a head injury, as Sky show a replay of Mepham almost getting whiplash. Doesn't matter that it's a collision with a teammate. It's still a head injury, you clown. And I put this together with
He must be, I tell you what, I'm gonna have to fucking check Don Goodman out on some of these bloody commentary jobs he's getting.
Goodman's the work. No. Goodman is basically the good cop to Hinchcliffe. Wait till you see what people say about Hinchcliffe. Don Goodman is fucking unbearable, says SR 2022. And occasionally I do get to put them together. Dear Sky Football, John R. Wilkinson one says, your regular at EFL summarisers hashtag Andy Hinchcliffe and Don Goodman are so negative, regularly telling players what they should have done instead of analysing positives. People are sick of it. Please address this. And my favourite part of this is that he's got a hashtag of his own initials.
Yeah, I know. I was thinking that. What?
John R. Wilkinson X. Just. I imagine every time he taps it and goes, has anyone responded to
one? Yeah, just in case GRWX fucking trends one time, yeah?
Incredible. I mean, not that I seriously want to dig him out. It was the first thing I noticed on that. I was like, oh, he's digging them both out. But I was like, what's he hashtagged him? I'm going to have to find that and actually see what happens when you press the hashtag. Not just rubbish understands that a Decker is a creosote. Paint on them roof was wood and tarred felt. Yeah, I mean it was awful, genuinely awful.
Yeah. I knew about it in '85, but when I actually went into done my homework about it as well, it was awful.
Yeah. Another one to add to the Barry Bannon collection, to which John Ridley wrote, and the Hinchcliffe sock drawer is taking a battering. Because obviously he's a former Sheffield Wednesday player in the Premier League, I believe. It's like I don't even know why he caught that stray, but I'm glad he did. Felt sorry for Sky Sports Stoke tonight. Sky Sports Stoke wrote us off before and during the game. The team showed character, room to improve. Zambrano superb before the injury, onwards and upwards. To which Matty Hayward wrote back, they were raging, weren't they? Andy Hinchcliffe, what a tool he is. Sky Sports Stoke. I've heard of Sky Sports Leeds because of the amount we were on TV.
Who is the Friday night game next week? Because I'm going to have to check this out.
You know what? I can absolutely tell you. Next week's Friday night game, Plymouth versus Luton.
Oh, right, okay.
You probably shouldn't waste your time with that one, if I'm being honest.
No.
All that public service that I'm advising you not to waste your time with that one. Just two more. Andy Hinchcliffe at Sky Football must have been some player the way he knows what every player on the pitch should do in every situation. From memory, he was an average fullback at best.
I think that's been harsh. I think he was better on average, especially at Everton. But you know,
in all seriousness, Brownie, right?
Yeah,
I do accept that for any footballer to have ever played on a blade of grass that was a Premier League ground or club or anything, you have got to have Andy. I'm sure if Andy Hinchcliffe played football over the park with me and my friends, he would without a doubt be the best footballer in any group of people he plays with, unless it's other professional footballers. 100% get that. Like, in all seriousness. But he really does talk like he is the be-all and end-all.
Right. You've attracted me more to Friday Night Football now.
This particular... if I remember rightly, the game he's actually doing, Hinchcliffe was doing the Saturday game. I can't remember who it was. It was obviously whoever was playing on Saturday. I think it was lunchtime. But he was doing one of them. I do try and work out which one he's doing. Because obviously, I only really know for certain if he's doing the Leeds one. Because I'll hear his voice. And then I immediately, when your body tries to churn itself inside out. But just the mere sound of his voice. But the last one, God, Andy Hinchcliffe on Sky Football remains appalling. He doesn't watch replays. He talks utter tripe, but he still gets picked every week. It's a really piss poor old boys club at Sky. Just shut up, man. He adds nothing. I just think that's the most cutting one.
Right, you've attracted me to watch it next week.
It's just it's my favourite thing of people's takes on the commentators, because I remember finding one time Ipswich played Blackburn last season in a game, and there were Ipswich fans going, "This commentator's so pro Blackburn," and then you had Blackburn fans going, "Oh my god, can they want Ipswich any more promoted?" Like kind of thing. It was like. So ideally, what you're telling me is that Don Goodman did a fantastic job because you all hate him.
Yeah.
But still, anyway, Bodin was probably better than Inchcliffe. Paul Bodin was ultra reliable from the penalty spot.
Oh yeah, I know, yeah. I remember going to that game in '93, seeing that Paul Bodin penalty miss. But in all fairness, it was the only penalty miss he ever had for Wales.
Was he the one who missed the penalty against Romania?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I went to that game.
Right. So before we go, because I do appreciate that I've kept you for longer than I usually would.
No worries. I need to go. I need an hour, to be honest.
So just gonna start this up with. Excuse me. Sorry, I should have triggered the intro first. So I messed up.
No.
The question of the week is: who has won the most games between Cardiff City and Leeds United?
Oh, I know we had a good run for a good couple of years, but I probably go for Leeds.
Okay. Just to give some. There were 16 draws between the two clubs. If the chat have any answers, I can tell you whether you're right or wrong.
I know we had a good run, didn't we? We were kind of like a bogey team for about 15 years.
That was like your run against us is fantastic.
I remember one year you were 3-0 up, wasn't it? And we come back and we're 3-0.
I still have nightmares over that, because that would have given us our record 8th win in a row, league win in a row. And because we always seem to get to 7 and then something fucks it up, and we went 3-0 up, and it was like, oh my god, we're finally going to get to 8. And then we took Patrick Bamford off and then stopped playing football, and Cardiff were basically like, Bamford's off, why don't we start trying? And you did.
Yeah, start trying, yeah.
You were not in that game until Bamford left the pitch, and then Garside, John. I was calling him Garside like fucking. I've been mates with him like 4 years. John Garside says they beat us by nearly 30. 7 games win max. I can tell you the answer is Cardiff have won 29 games, Leeds 19.
Jeez, that shocked me.
It's probably now 20, because I actually did this before we played you. But the actual thing that was really interesting, having discovered this, we went 31 years without beating Cardiff in a game. In any game.
But that a lot of that would have been because we're in different divisions, though, wouldn't it?
That is partly true. But obviously, we beat you in 1984, and then we didn't play you again until 2002.
Yeah.
But we didn't beat you in 2002.
No, I know.
We were
in League One then.
Yeah. We then beat you. The next time we beat you was in like 2015. So, but we played you a few times in between that. Because obviously, keep in mind, obviously, the back end of the decade was when you were quite good compared to us. So, whenever you played,
you had like Dennis Wise manager and everything, didn't you, at that time?
Yeah. But just in case anyone thought that was kind of disappointing, especially because it didn't really go in Leeds' favour, who wants a bonus question?
Okay, go on.
Bonus? In fact, I'm just going to play the video again. Question of the week. Bonus. Bonus edition. Bonus. Anyway, on the 6th of January 2000, it's meant to say 2002, right? Hey, John's a good guy. He's not perfect, but 6th of January 2002. How many league places separated Leeds United? It's my fault because I usually meant to double check these and I didn't.
Yeah.
Still, how many league places separated Leeds and Cardiff going into the third round?
You were top of the Premier League then, yeah?
Okay.
Right, so you're talking all the Premier League teams. So what's that, 20?
Yep.
20? Yeah, it was 20 back then.
Yep.
So 20 plus the teams in the Championship, because we weren't in a Championship. So that's 24. So that's 44. Now, we were mid-table in League One.
Where were you in League One on the 6th of January?
12th, maybe.
Okay.
So I'm going to go, and maybe 14th. No, I'm going to go 12th. So 20,
okay, well,
20, 40, 44, 54, 56. 56.
Okay, 56.
Yeah.
Wrong. And Palfy says 56, so he can get it as well. Wrong.
Okay, 54, 55 then.
Bremner's Ghost says 65. Denied. I just love any excuse to shut up this shit. But no, the actual answer is... I've got one more comment. Let's have a look what it is. Fuck's sake, that got me. The actual answer is 54 because you were first in the Premier League and you were 10th in the old Division 2.
Okay.
As a third bonus question, or second bonus question, what was the last game Leeds played before we played this match against Cardiff? And what was the last game Cardiff played?
The last game Cardiff played, that was there. Bristol City home. We lost 3-1.
Very good. Very good.
And Scott Murray, I don't know if you guys know Scott Murray, but I think he's a backroom staff at Bristol City. He went all the way down the one side of Ninian Park doing the Ayatollah, doing the Cardiff fan kind of celebration. Yeah. I remember being there and I thought, fucking hell, we're playing so fucking bad. We got Leeds next week. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, we lost 3-1 there. Who did Leeds play?
We beat West Ham 3-0.
Okay.
To obviously maintain our status at the top of the Premier League. And then we lost to you, and then we fell off a cliff for the next 15 years.
Yeah.
Well, I'm being generous, like, probably more than that. Oh, that's funny that I've managed to use some magic to turn 2022 into 2002. Cheers, John. But yeah, so healthy. There's no real punishment for being wrong here.
But the Ayatollahs have dropped their page.
Yeah, but no. So what I want to say, as we usually, when we do end the show, we actually go, thanks to Director John for all the work he puts in. Because basically, if there's any graphic, as I say this every week, if there's any graphic that you think looks really good, he made it and I didn't. And if there's anything looks absolute tripe, if there's anything you think looks like genuine tripe, it's because I cobbled it together.
No, well done, John.
And again, thank you, Brownie, for your time.
No worries, I don't know what time it is now, man.
It's probably approaching 10 a.m. for you.
10 a.m., yeah. Normally I'd be going to the gym, but I don't know. I may go back to sleep.
Not the worst idea. I'll probably be not far behind. I mean, obviously, I'm not coming to Australia to try and go to sleep with you.
But I enjoyed it. Thank you for the invite. I wish it was under better circumstances, wish Cardiff had the 3 points.
Oh, you're only here because you lost. If you'd have won, I would have sat here for 3 hours with you. But no. I mean, generally, I'll probably personally, I'll be happy to have you back for the reverse fixture. But
look forward to it. We should do a watch along, but maybe not this season. Maybe next season when we are better. Terry Cooper. I thought Terry Cooper played for Swansea.
Which
no,
could be right.
No, I'm on about someone else.
What is the answer, John?
I would Mick McCarthy's right hand man. Was that Terry Cooper? Terry Connor. Yeah, Terry Connor.
Terry Connor scored on his Leeds debut, which I find really strange because of Tony Capaldi.
Oh, Tony Capaldi,
Terry Connor's goal for Leeds was amazing on his debut. And then obviously, but he's most known as like Mick McCarthy's like mate, isn't he? Like his assistant. He follows him everywhere. It was like, he scored for Leeds when he was like 10, like I'm exaggerating, he was like 17 or something.
Because I had a former Leeds player, Leeds youth player. I interviewed him, Terry Phelan. He started off at Leeds.
He ends up at Man City for the main part, right?
Yeah, and then his career kicked off a bit, man.
Yeah,
but I'm still in contact with him.
Oh,
cool. What other players have I had? Oh, I'm still in talks with Brian Dean, aren't I? Yeah, you know. Yeah, it's hard work getting these former footballers to come on your channel.
He's at Northampton I think he's on loan from Birmingham. I don't know whether he joined them permanently, to answer Jimmy's question. Yeah, I mean, I imagine it takes some work to get this football. As you told me, play to their ego a bit.
Oh, I had Carlton Palmer. Carlton Palmer was probably one of my best ones, really. But yeah, it you know, and what you get from it, it's hardly worth it, if I'm honest with you.
I imagine it's pretty nice, like, to meet footballers and get them to talk to you. My favourite thing with Carlton Palmer is I saw him do and I have no idea a lot of what he says on Under the Cosh and things like that. I don't know whether that's true. I don't know about it. But what I will say is he does one where he talks about he played for the Leeds on Christmas Eve against Manchester United, and he does this bit where he's saying that all everyone ever remembers about that match is basically like the ball gets flicked over me and I look like an idiot. But then, when people talk about it, they don't mention that Sky gave me the man of the fucking match, do they? And we won.
No. In all fairness, some of them, because I did have a good run at getting former footballers on before my 17-month holiday, but. Warren Barton was also a good one, but they also say don't ever meet your heroes. And I'll be completely honest with you. There was one or two the attitudes. I thought myself, you absolute fucking prick. I'm only doing this because I can't end the stream now halfway through the interview. Do you know what I mean?
Northampton slapped Huddersfield. Yeah. But no, seriously, probably should wrap this up because obviously you have a day to be getting on with or sleep to be catching up with. But no, I genuinely appreciate your time because people may or may not realise where basically, obviously you're in Australia, so obviously while it's 1 a.m. for me, it's 10 a.m. for you, nearly 10 a.m. Nearly 1 a.m. for us. Guys, thank you for staying with this because I know this is longer than the show usually goes, but obviously there was a lot to talk about. Well, there was a lot of bullshit, basically. There's a lot of, you know what I mean. But no, thanks, guys. I'm glad you all enjoyed it. I mean, some enjoyed it. Some just love typing Carlton.
No, Carlton. It's off at
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
No. That Graham Taylor documentary. where he was the England manager.
Oh, when he's shouting, because in the game with Holland, isn't it? He's like, Colton. Yeah, I know what you mean. And you gradually just see a man's unemployment dawn upon him.
You
just got me sacked.
You see a fucking P45 coming from a fucking stand.
He's just got me sacked. But yeah, I know. So we could keep this going for another 3 hours with basically, do you remember this thing from 1993 or whatever? You did have interesting guests. But in all seriousness, thank you, Brownie, for your time. Thank you, Director John,
thank you very much. Thanks for
did you have fun? I sound like an old man. I sound like an old man, sat like badgering his son into admitting like that he had a good time. Did you have a good time at the movies, son? Anyway, sorry.
Oh no, I enjoyed it, mate, and you know it's probably the longest stream I've been in for a long time. So, it's a good experience. Thank you.
But no, thank you, Jimmy, Stefan. That he's a fucker, that Stefan. But no, thank you for your longevity in the stream, guys. Some of you have been here for a very long time. Some of you longer than I've been here. That's not true. Been here since 9:55. Thanks, Palfy. Even thank you to Richo for putting his head above the Everton pulpit and he turned up. But I mean, I'm the worst at ending shows. That just go on forever because I'm like the Sally Field of like thanking everyone for being on stream. Like, thanks to my mum. This is why I got the Oscar. I can't remember what film's got an Oscar for, but it was like Mr. Tomei and Director John. It's what I could really do with you just ending the show for me. But by the time it takes you to log in and stuff like, we all love Leeds. Yeah. So have a good night, everyone. Have a good week.
Take care, guys.
I mean, I thought I was pressing the outro there, but I actually pressed the We Love Director John bit. Oh, fucked it up. Anyway, have a good night, everyone. Take care. Wash your hair.